제제 모두도 님이자 손님은 진풍합제도 발그당한 전도 절마도 도마두제 잔라 잔잔로 이제로 오전에 장금선 잠을 뒤지신로 일하면 지금의 번소 잔라 소라데 공주도 반보를 준지로 Now I'm going to talk about four pillars of Dharma. There's many different ways to translate in English. Sometimes four seals or four laws of Dharma. Actually, in Tibet it says Tawakartak Changyavyu. These four are very important to understand whether we are disciple of Buddha or not. That means whether we are Buddhist or not. So these are really important. If really we have a view of all these four pillars, then we are already disciple of Lord Buddha. If don't we have, then it's very difficult to call us a Buddha's disciple of Buddhist as well. So I always try to sharing with you those who are beginner of Buddhist, or even the Buddhist, among the Buddhists who really lack of education of Buddha's teachings. So some are you born as a Buddhist country, but you still lack of knowledge about Buddhism, and even we don't know how to become as a Buddhist. It's difficult. It's not like if you born as a Buddhist country, then you are like a Buddhist. It's maybe we accustomed or what people say maybe, but reality it's not Buddhist. Buddhist it's not necessary to born as a Buddhist or like become something like a nun or a monk or like a non-vegetarian, or all these kind of things cannot say Buddhist or non-Buddhist. But really you want to a Buddhist, or really you want to a disciple of the Buddha, then we have these four views of pillars. So now I'm going to talk about four pillars. The first pillar is everything is impermanent. These kind of things, it's whether the Buddha appear or not. This I'll talk about reality. It's a reality of phenomena. So these are the just told by Lord Buddha, but he not created these things, something new created by the Buddha Shakyamuni. So as I mentioned before, whether Buddha appear or not, these are always exist as a truly exist. So everything is impermanent. The roughly on it, it's not very difficult to understand impermanent means. But in order to go deeply, it's quite difficult. And so just we think about our body and the inner world and the outer world, and the seasons are changed, and the people are changed, the things are changed. All this sign of impermanent. So sometimes we think that something is permanent, exist, or like a rock is permanent, or ocean is permanent. But when going to search, when going to investigate through the philosophy of Buddha's teachings, there is nothing any exists as a permanent. Everything's changing minute by minute. But our eyes couldn't see everything. Our eyes see as very limited, and machine is much better than our eyes. And then of course omniscient Buddhas, omniscient, when we achieve omniscient eyes or realizations of natural mind, then we get real eyes or wisdom. On the other hand, at moment our ordinary eyes and mind are very limited. It's very difficult to see reality. So if we meditate on everything as an impermanent, or we understand everything as an impermanent, then this make us to encourage to practice Buddha's teaching, or whatever you're doing as well. It's very important to practice on it, and it's make sometimes it's really people think impermanent bring more something like sad or suffering, but it's not like that. If you really practice it, it's bring you more courage, and rather than discourage or dishearten you to do something things, you facing the problems in reality if you understand or on emptiness, and you know that how precious time and how precious human body we have achieved. So in order to use it meaningful and beneficial others, so this you understand through the meditation of impermanent. And it's also bring you idea of liberation mind, and the interesting to engage practice on wordness as well. So then second things, every or all emotions are pain. So this mentioned last week when we talk about Four Noble Truths, the suffering. The first noble truth is suffering, and every emotions are suffering. This is a really something what to say. It's the first time it's very difficult to understand what is every emotions are suffering. But when we go into a little bit study or analyze, we understand easily, because we have kind of feeling happiness, but this kind of happiness as the cause of suffering, or these are like the something like invisible sufferings as well. So this happiness sooner or later in change to the suffering. So whatever we have ordinary person, or we are ordinary, we have some whatever we have a kind of emotions, these all are brain suffering. So every emotions are pain. And without self-existence, the third third pillar is everything as an impermanent, everything is like emptiness. So if really we going to meditate on emptiness, or we're going to search for something like for example, we always say like my and I, we always I as truly exist, or we grasp an I very much, myself, and I need I, something like that. If really we practice, we going to search for where is I. We just go five aggregate as a I, but every part of our bodies, it's not like a I, or what we cannot find as a I feeling of I exists or something. So after we realize there is no any exist something my and I, this kind of things, then that is really what to say, there is nothing find is best find of wordness or natural mind when we say that. So after we understand of on emptiness, then we arise in real wisdom, mind spontaneously arising wisdom. with the wisdom, with the awareness. Sometimes just awareness or emptiness. This is not like try to persistently you think you don't do not arising something thought emotions. You forcefully stop and you believe that there is something emptiness. It's not like that. If you really understand of phenomena emptiness, nature of emptiness, then you understand by yourself. You have got something like kind of this feeling. So the third one is everything is emptiness, or there is without there is no exist itself. So everything is just cause and condition, and interdependent origination we call. In order to understand emptiness, we have to know what is travel links or interdependent originations. These are every things are cause and condition. So if we going to search for the cause, we cannot find any causes or something like that. The result is automatically itself as a become awareness. So these are very important to understand. And then the fourth pillar is nirvana, is peace. So after you understand, after you realize, or after you get in something advanced levels of practice, then already your mind is like liberated from the disturbing emotions. Then you understand nirvana is a peace. When we reach this stage, so there is no any negative cause and conditions. There is always performed, and there is a cessation and the peace. And so when we talk about Four Noble Truths, the third one is a cessation. So when we achieve the nirvana stage, the cessation is already there. So there is no any there is no time to arise in the other emotions, other negative emotions as well. So in order to reach this stage, so first the first things important is meditate on emptiness, or understand of I means meditate on the impermanent, or understand about impermanent. Then after you understand that everything's impermanent,